Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Jennie Montgomery, and this is a very special show dedicated to the 80th anniversary of the longest existing arts organization in the CSRA, the Augusta Players. For 8 decades, it's provided professional theatrical experiences for adults and kids. But did you know it's also a social services organization? That's right, with programs including Augusta Readers Theater for senior citizens and Camp Wonderland for young people with autism spectrum disorder. And how many of you remember going to one of the Players shows on a school field trip? That was thanks to the Art Reach program. With such a long history, the Augusta Players has certainly become a cultural fixture in the community. Look at this playbill from 1945 and the show Kind Lady. Over the years, the organization has experienced remarkable growth in its size and quality of the productions. Here's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes from 1959. Acclaimed Hollywood actor Robert Duvall even performed with the Augusta Players. How about that? And over the years, the main stage productions have become more lavish and spectacular, providing patrons the opportunity to enjoy Broadway-caliber productions on Augusta's Imperial Theater stage. This is a young Sutton Foster playing Annie. Sutton, the famous Tony-winning actress who now graces Broadway stages and the small screen. And it's hard to talk about the Augusta Players without remembering the beloved Richard Justice. Take a look.
Jane in the scenery, you'll never be old hat, that, woohoo, you're timeless to me. No one's been like a son, kingpin like a star. No one's got a swell cleft in his chin like a star.
There's a specimen and intimidating.
I wanna die like a star. Can't regret what I did. What I did for love.
What I did for love.
And the Augusta Players' 80th season opens next weekend with an epic production of Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber's rock opera, Jesus Christ Superstar, and it is going to be huge. Scott Seidl is the executive and artistic director of the Players, and Luke Amerson plays Jesus. It is wonderful to have you gentlemen with us today.
It's a pleasure to be back. So good to see you.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Scott, before we talk about this epic performance of Jesus Christ Superstar, you are at the helm at a real milestone in the Augusta Players' history, 80th season. How does that feel?
Well, that's very kind of you to say that. And technically, that's what my job title says. But you know, our organization was created by volunteers 80 years ago in 1945. And really, this is such a team effort. I mean, for me personally, I think that's what your question is. I just said it in the rehearsal room a day or so ago. I'm so honored to be a part of this organization that has been the cornerstone of the arts community for 80 years, right?
Yes.
So many incredible leaders have come before me to get us to where we are today. And so it's a real honor to be able to take all that they've done and continue this tradition and help grow it with the new building and the shows that we're doing and other things that we have planned for our future. So it's also terrifying because, you know, new building, $3 million. Donate whenever you can. That'd be great. But it's truly just a gift to be a part of this organization.
It's amazing. And Luke, you were telling me that you did Augusta Players about 10 years ago. You moved away. You've come. Tell me, how did you wind up being here, and how do you feel about being a part of the 80th season?
Wow. First of all, Scott's being humble. He's an incredible leader, and we are very lucky as an organization to have him at the helm.
Yeah.
He's taking it to brand new places, new heights, and everyone's so excited about that. The community can feel it. But for me, I lived in Augusta, went to high school here, and then moved away and had a music career in Atlanta for about 7 or 8 years, and then moved back 3 or 4 years ago now, and have been looking for the right opportunity to hop back into the Players because it's something I always loved. I used to be a very active member of the Augusta Players, and now that I'm back, this was the perfect show, I think, to hop back in with, and it's just been an absolute ride. So,
well, and you have a really big role. I mean, first of all, Not everybody gets to say they're Jesus. I mean,
I try not to say that, just in the show.
but it's such a well-known show.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a big role to take on. And it's not just a big role, it is an enormous production. A 42-piece orchestra, is that right?
Correct. 43 if you include the
43.
conductor.
Oh, okay.
So there are 43, and not only is the entire stage filled with musicians.
They're on the stage. They're
all on
not in the
stage, yeah.
pit. They're on
Yeah.
the stage.
Full 10-piece string section and 2 bassoons, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 3 flutes, lots of brass, 4 French horns. It's massive. Plus this amazing rock band that's at the core of all of it. But even beyond that, we have musicians that'll be up in the balcony as well at certain parts during the show
wow.
to
Okay,
create
great.
this kind of antiphonal call and response that happens with the orchestra on
nice.
stage. Very,
Okay.
very exciting. And then on top of that, there's a cast of 33 and an adult choir of 20 and a children's choir of 20. So all told, we're
Are they performing in the aisles, Scott? Where
many
do they
of them,
fit?
yes. We do fill the aisles
So
at key
yeah.
moments in the show as well. Yes, we just recently added the children's choir to the rehearsal process, and it was amazing. They're so. We talk about the children's voices being the voice of God within the show. So it's just.
I love that.
Yeah, it's ethereal to hear these young soprano voices in the room, and I can't wait to add the orchestra this coming weekend.
One of the most memorable roles in the show is Mary Magdalene.
Yes, played by Ashley Rivera in our production. And we've really worked hard to develop this role in a very honest and real way. Her relationship with Jesus, her relationship with Judas, played by the incredible Ryan Abel.
Yeah.
And also the relationship with Peter, which is kind of a little bit of a new take on the show a little bit. We've worked hard to develop that, and it becomes so powerful. We see it begin in the very first scene, and when we get to the crucifixion at the end of the show, it's hard to watch it in the best of ways.
Is it emotional? I mean, is it emotional? And do you think about just the history that you're portraying as well, even without a faith element, but just the history of this?
It's emotional every night, I think, for every single person. Most of us leave rehearsal crying now that we've gotten into the end of the show and are working that pretty consistently. It's tough, yeah, and obviously the history weighs. I don't think there's any person in our culture or planet that could come to this show without bringing the historical load that it carries as well to it. So I think everyone feels that. It feels like we're all swimming in like a deep archetypal pool, and we come out of it at the end, and I think we feel tired but refreshed in some way as well. It's been really amazing and emotionally open and honest as everybody's working on this. So that's been a phenomenal environment to work in.
It's interesting because it's not the first time that the Augusta Players has presented Jesus Christ Superstar, but it is a very grand interpretation of this.
Right. This production, I keep saying, is a once in a lifetime event. Truly, because A, I'm going to be too tired to ever do it like this again. But B, we keep using the word epic. Like, no one has ever approached the show on this scale before, this magnitude. Because in addition to all those performers we were talking about, since the stage is filled with bodies, we're video mapping the entire interior of the theater. So the audience will be completely surrounded by video content on the walls and the ceiling of the house of the theater
so
itself.
it's going to feel very interactive for the audience.
Very much so. Very much so. And we talk about, there's a lyric in one of the really great upbeat rock songs in the show called "There Must Be Over 50,000," and the audience are those 50,000 that are there, part of the show itself.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, yes, there are incredible, powerful, heartfelt, heart-wrenching moments in the show, but there's also a lot of great fun and energy and great rock music too. And the choreography in the show is just stellar.
That's great. And a choreographer you've worked with many times.
Correct, Ashley Chasteen.
Yes,
yep.
Absolutely.
She's wonderful.
Fantastic.
She's also the co-director on the show.
Amazing, amazing. Well, it's going to be quite a great show to take in. And if you want tickets, don't wait. I know they're going fast.
They are indeed.
Yeah, they're going
indeed.
fast.
And we're in the home run stretch right now. So good seats are, there are a handful of them there, but I'd call today.
Do not miss it. Yep. Do not miss it. All right, Scott and Luke, thank y'all so much for being here today. And I can't wait to see the show. I will be there. If you want to be there, this is what you need to know. You can see Jesus Christ Superstar October 4th and 5th at 8 p.m. and on Sunday, October 6th at 3 p.m. Call 706-826-4707 for ticket information. The show is at the Imperial Theater. And when you go to an Augusta Players performance, you're sitting in the same building where audiences have clapped, laughed, maybe even cried for more than a century. We'll take a look at the history of the Imperial Theater and hear from the man who keeps it running, Executive Director Charles Scavullo, after the break. Augusta's Imperial Theater is 106 years old. It's centered in the heart of downtown, and it's no surprise the building has a rich history. Executive Director Charles Scavullo told our crews during the 100th celebration back in 2018 that the venue continues to thrive because of the community.
A lot has changed on Augusta's downtown street since 1918, but this building has remained. Originally called The Wells, the Imperial Theater opened as a silent movie theater, then spent most of the 20th century operating as a regular movie theater.
It closed for a little while in the early 1980s. It was saved by community support and was transformed into a community performing arts theater.
The building has not always looked the way it does now.
When it first opened 100 years ago, it was Art Deco. It was very bright. It was very audacious in terms of the color scheme that was selected.
But the architecture is a big reason why people continue to visit the venue.
It looks very much like an old Broadway theater. Been up there, seen a couple of shows, and it's definitely reminiscent of that.
I just saw the colors and the beautiful chandeliers, and I really thought it kind of really brought me back to like a old kind of Renaissance feel.
Charles Scavullo, he explains the Imperial has partnerships with the school district, museums, and ballet schools to keep the younger generation a part of the history.
So that classic theater environment lends itself to a whole new generation that may not have that experience and exposure. They're used to multiplexes.
So what can you see at the Imperial during the 80th season for the Augusta Players? As we've said, the epic once-in-a-lifetime production of Jesus Christ Superstar is coming up October 4th through 6th. The irrepressible comic strip character Annie takes center stage in one of the world's best-loved musicals, Tomorrow. That's December 13th, 14th, and 15th. Another favorite for all ages, The Wizard of Oz. This production is an innovative concept like you've never seen before. That's February 28th, March 1st, and 2nd. And wrapping up the season is Anastasia. That's coming up May 9th, 10th, and 11th. And there's more. The Augusta Junior Players will be opening a new season as well. Get all the details about Children of Eden when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. We are celebrating the 80th season of the Augusta Players today, and a big part of that is the Augusta Junior Players. Their upcoming show is called Children of Eden Junior. It's based on the story of Genesis and the age-old conflict between parents and children. It's a Stephen Schwartz musical, and you know that name. I mean, some of his most famous ones are Godspell, Pippin, and Wicked. Christina DeCarlo is the Associate Artistic Director of the Augusta Players. She's here today along with Justice Blakeman, who plays Father. Well, I'm so happy that y'all are here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
This is great. And Christina, of course, I know you. You've been here before. Justice, it's your first time on the show.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, Roy Lewis is a big part of the Augusta Junior Players. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
We all know Roy Lewis. Did you all know a little bit of history for you, some theatrical history? Let's take a look over here at this. Roy Lewis played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar a few decades ago when the Players did it. How do you like that? Look at Roy.
My
Do you love that?
Very nice.
I've never seen these pictures
Well,
before.
we had a fun time going through some of the archives, and when I saw Rory Lewis, I told our director, Jarrett Ledger, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to get some of those pictures and show Christina.
Yes, I love it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, okay, so we have already talked about Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes.
Now we want to talk about Children of Eden Jr. Christina, there is a Children of Eden, but tell me what's the difference with the Junior?
Yes, so Broadway Junior is a organization through Musical Theater International, and what they do is they take full-length Broadway shows and they cut them down to an hour. So young people ages 8 through 18 can perform the material. They change some of the keys, they break up some of the solos so more people in the cast can have a special spotlight throughout the show.
Nice.
So it's adapted from a full-length 2.5-hour musical to a 1-hour musical that's more easily digested by young people, and that young people can get on the stage and not feel so overwhelmed with the material.
With the material.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great to know. And just as a senior, you were on the upper range, of course, so it's no wonder you're playing Father.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that character.
Well, Father is, he's the equivalent of God in the story of Genesis. But in this story, he's more of a literal father figure to both Adam and Eve and their children that end up being born throughout the course of the show. He's not so much as a deity, just as a more real person. You see more of his emotions of excitement when he is creating, like someone who's having fun with creating something new and unique. And then the love that he shows to his children, it's just very natural seeming, and it's not as mysterious or as most people would think in like a religious sense per se, but it's more real, it's more grounded. As this show, while based on Genesis, uses the book of Genesis to tell this more grounded story of family. And it does take creative license with the story, but what it more focuses on is making those characters seem more real.
I love that. And you are so articulate. Christina, I always find that about the young people that are in theater.
Yeah.
They speak so well.
They do. That's just one of the many tools that why theater is so important for young people. You know, even we have Justice, who's a senior, who wants to go off and do theater as a career. But even young people who don't want to do theater as a career, it teaches so many life skills, how to articulate, how to work together as an ensemble, how to walk in somebody else's shoes. Arts education is just so important.
There's so much empathy with that.
There is. Yeah, there really is.
And the thing too is you are building up your next, cast members for Augusta Player shows.
You are, yeah.
It's just really neat. And it is fun to see how some families are so spread out, where they may have parents who are in the players and kids who are in the junior players, just the theater families that are so involved.
It really is a family affair. It truly is. And that's why I think so many people will really enjoy Children of Eden Jr., because it's all based on family. It's a story of parents and children and clashing of generations. And when people come and see the show, I think children will have a really good understanding of why parents set some rules that they do.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, I think parents will also see a really great point of view from their children as well.
Well, that was a great way to put it, and you don't have very long to act. It's coming up later this week. Children of Eden Jr. by the Augusta Players. Here's the information. You can catch Children of Eden Jr. this Friday and Saturday at the Kroc Center. Friday's show is at 7 p.m. There are 2 performances on Saturday, 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Get your tickets online at AugustaPlayers.org. Both Christina and Scott are so excited to be putting down roots in the theater district. We'll take a peek at the Augusta Players' new home, and it's been a long time coming. See how you can honor a loved one with a brick after the break.
You know
As the Augusta Players is about to debut its 80th season, it's also in the middle of a big capital campaign for the new permanent home of the Players, something that's been 5 years in the making.
It's right there in the heart of the theater district. Literally across the street is the Miller Theater. A block away is the Imperial Theater. On the same block is Le Chat Noir. On the same block is Jesse Norman School of the Arts. The exterior of the building will remain pretty much the same as it is. It's got this beautiful facade on the front of it, and we'll clean it up and, you know, do pointing and all the bricks and all those things, and be able to brand it so people know that it's us and where we are. And it'll have this beautiful public-facing lobby, and we'll be able to show our history in that lobby as well for people that come in to visit us. Just beautiful offices with a boardroom and just a lovely natural light space for us to work in on a daily basis. And then right next to that will be not one, not two, but 3 rehearsal spaces. And we need it because right now, on average, we have 3 shows in rehearsal simultaneously.
The Augusta Players needs the community to get involved and support the capital campaign. It's easy. You can click that QR code there on your screen or donate online at theapcampaign.com. Well, we have come to the end of today's show. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. And Scott Seidl, thank you for letting us celebrate 80 years of Augusta Players.
Well, thank you. It is always such a joy to spend time with you. It's always the best part of my day.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting us so dearly and wonderfully.
You are so welcome. And you know, Scott has a history on stage too. So Scott?
Well, right now it's the big finish, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so pleased and proud to be here. We're going to see you at the historic Imperial Theater on Broad Street, October 4th, 5th, and 6th for Jesus Christ Superstar. And
I will see you again right here for News Channel 6 at 4. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon, right?
Absolutely.
And we have to do it this way. Goodbye.